Hi, I'm Rudee Bertie. I'm the CEO of Atom Group and co-founder of NeX, Neutral E-commerce Experience. NeX is coming to you soon.
Yeah, my name is Justus Klüver-Schlotfeldt. I'm the CEO of NeX Limited, the Neutral E-commerce Experience. And I'm happy to be here to have a conversation with Rudee.
So where I see this concept going is in a place that's never really been reached before in regards to a logistics type of network. So logistics type of network, there's huge ones, there's smaller ones, but there's always, for me, there was always something missing. And it's not because the networks weren't, fulfilling enough for other delegates, but for me, because I've always been more drawn to more of like the e-commerce type of logistics type of situations, right? So if I went to a freight network, it would be hard for me to find someone doing, or someone for me to collaborate with doing exactly what I'm doing, who I can share business with, and who had that same type of mindset. You would find a few, right? And those few you kind of clung to and you gravitated towards them because they understood your business, you use them as a partner, they use you as a partner, and all that kind of stuff. So in regards to NeX, the Neutral E-commerce Experience, we want to bring that experience. We want to bring the value add. Like you was talking earlier, you said about bringing all the experts within their own field and bringing them around that table. So that table could be a round table of 5, 10, 15, or it could be, a virtual table of 1,500, right? It's all the experts and the professionals within that environment. That's true to say, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
In the end, we never had really the experience that we found an ecosystem online or a network that could really value add for the e-commerce industry, right? Yeah. So yes, you have freight forwarders that are coming together, and yes, you have freight forwarders maybe that are strong in their e-commerce field, but are they, every single one of them are connecting with the technology providers on their own, local in country, then they're trying a global system, but it doesn't work, then they're not speaking the same data language. Then they got the payment issues because even though if they go with an international bank, they still have hiccups, high transaction fees. So there's no place that brings all these dots together, right? So if I'm a local provider of, let's say, a customs broker in South Africa, and I know I'm doing a good job, and I'm probably doing maybe even a last mile providers in country, I'm missing the dots to get the experts on the other side of the table and also benefit from the technology behind it, getting the data inside, where it's more, tracking.
That's the thing, though. It's the technology side of things, the data side, right? That's where, even if you're looking at, just look at regular freight forwarding industry, right? It's still very much, there's data technology within the industry, but they're not actually joining the dots. So you would have your own ecosystem, right, within your own company under one roof. I'll have mine, right, but there's no kind of.
Yeah, and even though the other data providers that they're out there, the software companies, then take a tracking provider, for example. It's collecting all the data from the carriers and from the airlines and all the stuff, but they also keeping it for themselves, right? So they're selling the license for a lot of money, but they're not providing that to their membership industry. For us, the vision really should be that when we build this ecosystem, the members will benefit from getting the data from us as a return benefit for their membership, right? So, and I think that will really make a big difference.
Yeah, and it goes about building upon our own experiences, because I know you've been in various aspects of the industry, right? So you customs brokerage, compliance, you got involved in all kinds of technology kind of solutions. Right, so you've been there, you understand it. I know you travelled everywhere in the world, right, all over the place.
Pretty much.
Do you know what I mean?
A few countries.
Yeah, a few countries. Probably never done Germany.
Actually, I haven't seen so much of
that. Yeah, you see, I knew it. But and it's about bringing those experiences, right? Bringing that experience to life if you want, in our own making. So we always talk about doing it by design, and this is the one opportunity that we're going to have to bring NEX, bring it to life, and doing it by design.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, and now's the right time also to do so, because we see a lot of in different industries, e-commerce still is the one that is growing.
Yeah.
Even though spot rates are going down, volumes are going down everywhere. I mean, still there's the complaining on the market is on high levels still, right? Because if you compare it, we're still on pre-COVID times and volumes. So of course the freight forwarding industry was, and especially the ocean freight industry was like on super high street now during COVID, and now everybody's complaining. But in reality, it's only going back to what it was before COVID kicked in. But one thing that all the data shows is that the e-commerce industry in any aspect of the world is still growing.
It's still growing. And
we have other aspects like the return industry, and that the sustainability that comes with it needs to be expected. And also there, I think our ecosystem, NEX, will play a key role.
But I think we have to look at, because that whole returns kind of situation, really and truly, that needs to be, because right now at the moment, everything's returned. Return, right? So if you're looking at like eco, you're looking at sustainability and all that kind of stuff. That's an area which is really under the spotlight at the moment. Is really under the spotlight. So obviously you have like different groups out there. All they want to talk about is returns, but they don't want to return. They want to sort of like negate returns.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But then, I think with it, the sustainability factor comes and kicks in, because you do really need to. I mean, the people, on the one hand side, they want to ship less because they want to act environmentally friendly, but then on the other side, they sending everything back, right? So that doesn't match each other, and also the massive amount of paper that is used. So I think there's a change, and there's a lot of startups that are coming around the corner, and
it's a shift in mindset and all that kind of stuff. Because if you're looking at retailers, they have this open policy of buy it, if you don't like it, just return it. Right, returns are free, but there's no such thing as a free return. Right?
No, exactly. So and that's the thing. And
that's the misconception right there.
And I think connecting afterwards all the dots and bringing the different technologies providers together with the freight forwarders, with the airlines, with the ocean carriers, that really will make a difference.
But it's our job really to connect the dots. So you have you create like a little mini ecosystem. So if you have like from merchant all the way through to like delivery to the consumer, then all the dots in between, it's our job to create those kind of mini ecosystems, right? And to demonstrate how it can work within the network in order to resell the value of what we're trying to do. So anyone coming into that network group, they have to be with value add. They have to bring something to the table.
Yeah, and that's everybody I'm talking to now to pitching the idea of our ecosystem,
getting people excited.
But then at the same time, I also tell them right away up front, it might be that you can't be a member if you're not fulfilling the requirements that we're looking after, and then which doesn't mean that you cannot be in the future, right?
Exactly. So it doesn't mean you can't be involved. Right. Some.
So and then we will show you what we're expecting to be the certified member, and if you cannot achieve it on your own, we are happy to provide you with a consultant expert to achieve it.
Exactly.
And once you get the certification, every other member can be sure, that's the best-in-class expert that we can rely on.
Yeah.
And that's the goal that we want to achieve, and I think that also sets us apart from the rest. I think what sets us apart really from other networks is first and foremost that we're really looking only for best in class and having one member per niche per area. That is the first one. The second one is that we're not taking everyone on board. We're not selling over quantity. We want to sell over quality. And I know that a lot of networks saying the same, right? And they're sitting in their niche market, or let's face it, if you these days open up a network for freight forwarding, the chances are like zero that you will succeed, because there's like every week there's open up a new network out there for logistic members. But as I said earlier, we're not setting up a network as such for freight forwarding members in e-commerce, but we're bringing everyone to the table, including the technology providers, including the consultants, including the payment providers, including airlines and ocean carriers. We want to have everybody in the supply chain, even the retailers or the fulfillment operators on the table.
Yeah.
And that makes the real difference. And we're not saying, yes, the name is Mutual E-commerce Experience, but Mutual can also be a member like a governmental-owned freight forwarder like DHL, for example, right? They doesn't necessarily need to be, we're not cutting them out.
Yeah.
Everybody is welcome on the table. It just needs to fit. And that's, I think, the main difference. And for our members, what to expect afterwards on is that, they will get access to a really, truly global e-commerce handling system. And let's face it, there is not really an e-commerce network out there. So I think that's the real benefit from us towards the rest.
Yeah, because there's different e-commerce platforms out there, but no real kind of network.
And we will add value, because let's face it, you can also taking the example back from the guys in South Africa I just mentioned earlier, if they want to now want to cover another aspect, like they want to get being experts on the customs brokerage, for example, or on the middle mile, whatever, and they are not, then we can help them to achieve that and becoming an expert on that. And that is, I think, the one of the USPs that we will hold, because with the Atom Group as a shareholder, we have a global network of professional consultants in the logistics that can move into every aspect and sell it ahead. Plus that we have our own marketing agency with IDX in the network that is having marketing experts that can help all the other members to tailor-made marketing campaigns for them. And that's again data powered, right? Because with all the data insights that we're getting and that we're analyzing, we will use and help our members to achieve their targets, making sales strategies, helping them to develop their marketing strategy in that direction, what they need to do. And I think that's every aspect of that is adding value as such, and that for a more or less acceptable membership fee, I think is a lot that you're getting out of that.
Right, the challenges are you cannot do everything, right? In terms of, there's certain areas that you want to cover, but you also know that's your area of coverage. You also know, for example, if you're like a technology company dealing with HS classification, right? Who do you sell it to? Who do you align it with? Do you need help with other parts of a technological platform? Do you need guidance and assistance in that, right? Or do you try to do it yourself? But then if you're only concentrating on one particular area, then you want to do that particular area good, I would imagine. And so again, from a questioning point of view, so if you're like a retailer, then your pain point might be pricing, it might be coverage, it might be sustainability, it might be you're getting a high rate of returns because payment platforms don't work in particular companies in that particular country you're going to narrow it down in terms of what can NEX do different. We're trying to bring all of those areas to the table, so we're bringing all those concerns and arguments to the table to be spoken about and to be open and viewed and, what's the word I'm looking for? Challenge head on, right? Because they're all going to be, there's challenge. Everyone's got challenges, but we need to call out challenge head on in regards to, rather than trying to just, we're not trying to lump everyone together and say, look, good luck. Yeah. We're trying to say, look, come into this environment and what's your situation? What's your concern? What is it that you're looking for? Right? And we're going to try and help you to find what you're looking for.
I think that's also different than when we will have our conferences. The focus will not be so much on one-on-one meetings.
No.
You can, of course, and then you can also, there will always be plenty of room to pick one, to take them to the side and have a conversation. But basically, you will know already upfront or later on after the panels and stuff. You will know who you want to speak to, because you know what you want to where you need help, right? So that's where you will reach out to someone else, and then together with us as a system, we will help the single member to solve their challenges and solve their problems. So that's,
and the takeaway. Okay, talking about a takeaway. The takeaway from that is they come into the environment and they need that particular help, and so they leave that with us, and then we find that solution for them, right? Because it's all about, you want them to feel. You don't want them to feel needy, or you don't want them to be needy, but you want them to know that we have their back.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to us, and we'll try and find that solution for you.
And then together, right, with our help, but also together as a group, so that makes it so valuable. Because it's in the end, a network is only as good as a network is, because you need to have the right members on board that can complete, in the end, a complete supply chain industry.
I've seen it once. At, I think it was at the delivery show, one of the shows that MetaPack put on a couple of years ago, just before COVID, just before we went to lockdown. But you don't normally see that type of, you don't normally see a show with retailer stroke, the industry. So you don't really see industry with a retailer. And the reason, I know why the reason is, because the industry doesn't want to give their secrets away to the retailer, right? Because then they feel that the retail merchant could then
do it themselves.
Exactly. That's the reason.
And as there's with the now booming trend to D2C, there is more and more retailers that are cutting out the logistics partner in the middle and going directly to the airlines and carriers, or even raising their own MVOCC line, right, and then shipping it globally and do the fulfillment themselves.
They do everything themselves.
But it's in the end, yes, it's a booming market. But even though they all need at least one or two parts in the supply chain, whether it be the fulfillment part, whether it be the last mile courier part, or the bottleneck of it's all, the customs brokerage is always needed, right?
Yeah, they can't do it themselves. No. They can. I'm not saying they can never do it themselves, right? Because you got big players out there like Amazon that are doing what they're doing.
Sure, they can buy it in house and then do it. But coming back to the question, I think it's I see it in the same way. They do not want to share the industry insights. That's why you don't see them at one spot.
No, it's like what we was chatting about earlier. We were talking about AI technology earlier. The threat that AI technology brings is the same as the threat of mixing retail and wholesale in one environment.
Well, if they have the interest of acting outside their regional area, being an active e-commerce logistics provider or tech or whatever industry they are, if they want to act globally and want to get access to the leading areas in e-commerce in the e-commerce industry, then they should definitely join our network.